Hey there. So, have you fallen behind on your rank advancement and income goals and maybe don't know how to get back on track? We understand, we've been there. So, when you're feeling stuck in your business, it can be hard to see the finish line, right? You feel like everyone else is just running past you as fast as they can, and you're just literally standing still. Well, in this week's episode, we are going to share three simple tips to help you get unstuck and start achieving your business goals right away so you can finally create the momentum and the results that you've been looking for.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Jordan Maley. I'm here today with my mom and business partner, Kathy Schneider, and we are the co-founders of the Global Freedom Community and a mother-daughter team who help driven network marketers with the simple strategies to grow your business quickly online without confusion and overwhelm. And we come to you guys live every single Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern for coffee and free coaching to help grow your business. And if you're watching this over on our new YouTube channel, then be sure to become a subscriber. You can click that subscribe button right above this video, and that way you'll be notified every time we put out new training, which we've got this episode, and then we sometimes put some bonus extra fun stuff over there too. So you want to make sure you're in the know. And every single new episode comes with a free resource that you can download absolutely free to get more value out of what we share. So as you guys are coming on today, say hello, let us know you're here. I'm going to put the link up on the screen where you can go and grab that free resource for today, which we're going to tell you all about. Or if you're watching over on YouTube, you can check it out in the description below. But as you guys are coming on, say hi, let us know you're tuning in. If you're watching the replay, say replay. And if this is your first time catching us live, then be sure and let us know because we'd love to come back through and introduce ourselves here in a little bit. So, hey there, Sue. Great to see you here. Yes, we're doing well. I hope you're doing well also. And Mom, let's jump in. What are we talking about today?
Okay. We're talking about achieving goals. And I wasn't quite sure about this quote when I pulled it up, but I thought, it's really pretty spot on. So what's your aim? And I've heard people like you ask people, like, what's your goal? And I remember when people would ask me, what's your goal? I remember my very first mentor asked me, we were sitting in Las Vegas in a hotel lobby room the very first day I met him. Denise, you probably remember this guy. And we're sitting there, hello, Renee. And so we're sitting there in the hotel lobby. The first time we had just picked him up from the airport, driven back to the hotel, and he asked me, he looked me directly in the eye, and the team was all right there. Like we're all sitting on these sofas, in the hotel lobby. And he looked at me and he said, Kathy, he said, what is your ultimate income goal? And he really said income, which, I don't think it's always about money, right? Sometimes our goals aren't about money, but his theory was, I want you to set an income goal and a title goal. And then, it's like, what does the money and the title usually brings with it a lifestyle, right? So it's kind of like, what are you aiming for? And I just sat there and looked at him and I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I really had not ever really put it together. And he was like, okay, he said, before I see you later today, he said, I want to know, and I want you to write it down, and I want it to be like your ultimate. Okay, this is like the big goal. What do you really want? And so I made sure that I went back and I wrote that down and I brought it back to me. You know what? I have never forgotten that. I wrote it down. It's my goal. It's in my vision video all the time. And it's a big goal. I still haven't hit it, but you know why? Because it's that big. You know what? It keeps me moving forward. Like it motivates me. When I hear that goal, it keeps me moving forward. Now, maybe your goal is smaller, and we're going to talk about some different things. If it's not all about having necessarily a big goal, but I do want to make sure that you've got some kind of big goal, because you know what? If you aim for nothing, I can guarantee you'll hit it every single time. So anyway, pretty cool.
Absolutely. So today we're talking about how to get unstuck and start reaching those goals. So maybe you have a goal or maybe you don't have a clear goal. I think a lot of times, and you guys chime in the comments and let us know if you can identify with this, that setting a goal can be kind of scary sometimes, right? Because I think so often we're trained to believe that if we don't hit a goal by a certain date or by a certain deadline, then we have failed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that fear of failure holds us back, and we don't even set the goal because we're afraid that we might not hit it. Has anybody ever like been afraid to set a goal because you're not sure you can hit it? I know. I mean, it's just like how we're raised growing up in society and school and things like that, right? It's like you got to get the A on the report card. You got to get stuff done. And if you don't, then you're a failure. Whereas in the entrepreneur journey, it's completely different, right? The only way you ever fail as an entrepreneur, especially like in something like network marketing, the only way you ever fail is if you quit, right? And so you might as well set the big, scary goals because that's what's going to pull you forward. So today we're going to be talking about how to get unstuck, start reaching those business goals. And to help you do that, we have a free download, our simple goal setting worksheet. We can get super complex and super fun into goal setting. I've done some really in-depth goal setting courses and strategies. We have a course that's all about your vision and goal setting and mindset and things like that. You can make it a really big thing. But sometimes we just have to keep it really simple, right? We got to keep it really simple. And this worksheet does that. It keeps it very simple. And yeah, I see someone say, I need to write the goals down. This worksheet's a good place to do that. And it's not just about writing down your goal. It's about making a plan for doing that. And Christine, I see your post saying, you're an event planner. There's not a whole lot going on right now because of the time that we're living in. So, this is a time where we all have to get creative and pivot a little bit, right? And we have to figure out how can we change up, what can we change? What can we alter? What can we do differently in order to help our businesses thrive during this time, right? Yeah. And Renee said, I had to get used to setting huge goals. Absolutely. Because it's not something, it can be intimidating and it can be scary. So today we're going to talk about how.
Yeah. Before we go on, I want people to drop in the comments. Do you have your goal written down on paper? Do you have your goal written down on paper? Either yes or no, not yet. Okay. It's not, no, never. Just no, not yet. Or yes, I do. So, because it's not a bad thing. I mean, if you don't have it on paper, no big deal. We're going to fix that today when you grab this worksheet. And this is a new updated worksheet. Very simple. You're going to love it. You're going to have fun with it. It's one that you're definitely going to want to grab because it's really, really, really going to motivate you to move forward. Denise Caruzzi, I am so ashamed of you. No, I'm just kidding.
Denise is a good friend, you guys, so we can give her a hard time. She doesn't.
This girl is a goal achiever. This girl runs marathons. She set a goal. And I remember when she ran her half marathon and went on to, and now she just runs them all the time. So, and she runs every day. She set a goal to run a mile every day. And I think she's on like day number, I don't know, 10,000 or something. It's insane. So, I mean, she knows how to set goals. So yeah, I want you to set a goal and put it on paper. Yes. Christine says, no, I don't. No big deal. Let's get it done. Margelina, I love that name. Yes. Debbie, yes. Renee, yes. Awesome.
Very cool. All right. So we've got 3 tips, you guys. If you're feeling a little bit stuck in your business, Denise, day 997, man, you're about to pass that 1,000-day mark. That's so cool. So you guys, let's talk about our 3 tips to help you get unstuck. As you can guess, this might have a little bit to do with goal setting, but it might be in a little bit different way than what you've done it before. So I want you to hang in here with us, and I'll let Mom talk about this first tip to help you guys get unstuck and get the results that you're wanting to get in your business.
Yeah, so often when we're feeling stuck in our business, it's because we've allowed distractions, right? We've allowed excuses to become who we are, right? We let the excuses keep us from doing the things that move our business forward. One of the excuses that is probably my biggest pet peeve, and this goes back to being a mom. I've got 3 kiddos. Jordan's our oldest. And then we have a 22-year-old and a 19-year-old. And I remember when my children were little and I was, just getting started in network marketing. Jordan was like 10. And so the other two were little. Well, one of them hadn't even been born yet. And then we had the baby. And I remember having mom say to me, well, I can't because my kid doesn't nap, or I can't because, my children are in so many activities. They just keep me running all the time. I mean, and all these were excuses, guys. And I've always said, this is such a cliche, or maybe you've never heard it before, but it's so important. Whatever your excuse is, usually you can spin that around and make it your why, make it your reason. And I know for me, my family and my children were always my why. And it was like to have more time and more resources to do, which a lot of times that's time. It's not always money, but more time, more resources to do things with my family and my kids and to provide more for them. I didn't want, if they wanted to go to college, I didn't want them to have to go to college and end up with a bunch of school, debt. Okay. I didn't want them. I wanted us to be able to pay for that. And we've been able to do that for our kids. And it was because I made my kids my reason why and not an excuse. And no, I had plenty of things that I used as excuses. So I'm not perfect by any stretch. It's just that one thing's though always been kind of my pet peeve. It's like, no, you know what? You're the parent. You can figure it out. So, and I think a lot of times we let things like fear, I know I did. I let fear stand in my way. Okay. I have let busyness get in my way. And I'm sure some of you can relate to that. You just feel so busy. It's like, oh my gosh, I just didn't get to it today. I mean, I do that sometimes with things like one of my goals is for us to eat a healthy dinner. And it comes to dinner time, like, oh, it was such a hectic day. I didn't get dinner planned. I didn't get it cooked. Okay, well, my reason why to cook dinner, obviously, is so that we have, healthy food, which makes us healthier and feel better. And that excuse of not being too busy to plan the meal and get it cooked, it's just like an excuse with not building our business, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just let that excuse get in the way. And so when you go back and you kind of revisit why you first got started in your business, okay? Why did you get started? You've got to remember, and then you've got to have that vision so that it will pull you through all the obstacles. It'll pull you through the excuses. It'll pull you through the roadblocks, because all those things are going to happen. Okay. You're going to have obstacles. You're going to have excuses that come up in your head and even that come out of your mouth, but you've got to start noticing those things and realize that, oh, that's an excuse. I need to stop that, because those things are going to happen. You're going to have roadblocks. Oh my gosh. I could write a book on all the roadblocks that I've experienced as an entrepreneur. And this even goes way back to when we owned our furniture store or my husband's business. It's not just in network marketing. It's, pretty much in anything. And so the thing is, you've got to revisit that why. And then while you're doing that, you've got to still say, is my why still relevant? I mean, my kids are older now. And so my why has shifted some. It's still about spending time with family, but it's not about going to the school parties, right? It's not about taking them on field trips, maybe vacation trips, but not field trips, and it's not about working in the classroom and volunteering for all their parties and being there for all of their, shows. I like going to Jordan's horse shows. I like, Clayton has a shop where he likes us to come over and see the projects he's working on. Paige is in college and she's really involved in a lot of activities there, and she's got things she wants us to come see. So yeah, those things are part of my why, but you've got to also ask yourself, is it powerful enough? Sometimes we write things out that just seem like, okay, this is what I should be. Like I need to be this kind of mom, or I need to be this kind of dad, or I need to be this kind of wife or husband or friend or neighbor, whatever. But you've got to really dig deep and then say, is this really, really my why? Like, is this really strong enough to pull
why do you want those things, right? Like you got to keep asking why until you get to the root of it.
Exactly. And then also make sure that you're not doing it for what the world says your why should be, but really why you, okay? Why do you want to build your business? And revisit that, and don't feel guilty about whatever that why is, okay?
Sometimes it can be something, I remember Eric Worre sharing a story once about, his why in the beginning wasn't necessarily this big noble thing. His was, he wanted to prove somebody wrong, right? Somebody had doubted him. Somebody had told him he couldn't do it, that he would never be successful. And he wanted to prove them wrong. So your why sometimes can be it will evolve and it will grow and it will become so much bigger than you, like as time goes on. But sometimes that thing that gets us going on a day-to-day basis is, you know what, dang it, I'm not gonna let those people who've doubted me be right. Right? You know, like sometimes it's something as simple as that can sometimes be the thing that's the most powerful in the moment, right? Like, because sometimes our why is really big and it seems really far off. And sometimes it's those little micro whys that help keep us going as well.
So in the comments, drop in the comments, do you have your why on paper? Do you mean like it, and has it been updated? I'll say in, I don't know, the last 6 months, 90 days to 6 months, something like that. It varies. I mean, your why, if you've got little ones, your why may stay the same for 3 or 4 years, 4 or 5 years, 6 years.
Mhm.
I know mine did. My why didn't vary much when my kids were little. And then I kind of saw that shift when they became more independent. So drop in the comments what your why, not what your why is, but if you have your why on paper, either yes, you know what, I've got it written down, because again, you got to get it out of your head and on paper. Okay.
I rewrite my why every 90 days, even if it hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. And I write it down in my planner. I have a new planner that I use every 90 days, and I rewrite my why in that planner every 90 days because I need the refresher, right? And I read it on a regular basis, but sometimes just taking the time to rewrite it can be really, really powerful.
I remember Richard Brooke once saying when he first got started in network marketing, I don't know if anyone out there knows who Richard Brooke is, but it still cracks me up every time I think about it. He wanted, his why was that he wanted to have the confidence and wanted, like when he asked a girl out, he wanted to be able to ask anyone out and feel confident in doing so. And he wanted that person to say yes. And that was his why. His thought was, you know what? If I have the money and I have the car, because he wanted this fancy car, because he thought if I have a fancy car, I mean, this is typical young guy in his early 20s. He's much more mature now, but in his early years, and it was like, I just need this really cool car so that when I ask a girl out, she'll say yes. Well, okay, if that's what motivates you, I mean, whatever it takes, because you know what? He's grown way beyond that.
And you look at all the thousands and thousands of people he's impacted.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. He has impacted the lives of so many people. So it's okay in the beginning for that why to look back on you kind of laugh about it because, you go, oh my gosh, how embarrassing. But you know what? I like that he shares it because it always made me realize there is no why that's wrong. Because in what we do, it's going to help us to impact so many people. But your initial why doesn't have to be something like, oh, I want to impact thousands of lives. I want to save all the children in Africa or what. I mean, not that all those things aren't great. But what I mean is it doesn't have to start off to be, like Jordan said, noble. It doesn't have to start off to be that. Whatever will get you moving into action, doing, waking up and doing what you got to do every day. That's what's important.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about the second tip, okay? Are you guys getting value so far? Let us know in the comments if you're getting value. Was that helpful? If you don't have your why updated, we highly recommend you do that. That's a really good way to get unstuck and to remind yourself why you started. But then the next thing you've got to do is you got to take action, right? So this starts with taking control of your day. And this is the nitty gritty, you guys. We wake up, we're on reactive mode the second we wake up. The alarm clock is blaring. The kids are vying for your attention. The dogs are vying for your attention. You've got everything that's on your calendar. You've got your family. You've got your boss. You've got all this stuff happening. I remember that like this morning I woke up and I was like, okay, I got to get up. I got to make coffee. I got to, let the dogs out. I got to feed them breakfast. I got to water the grass. I've got to do all this stuff. And then I got to get out the door and I got to go have breakfast with my dad and my Nana, which we do every Wednesday. And it was just, you wake up and you're in reactive mode. But what you've got to do is, as entrepreneurs, we have to learn how to move from reacting to being proactive. So because I have a morning routine and I make sure every morning I wake up at least 30 minutes earlier than I need to so that I can do my morning routine. And because on Sunday, I made my list for the whole week. And then on Monday, I sat down and I said, okay, what on this list am I going to do today? On Tuesday, what on this list am I going to do today? What on my list am I going to do today, Wednesday? I was feeling very proactive, right? I was extremely busy. I had a lot going on, but I didn't wake up reacting to the world around me. I woke up with a plan and a focus, and I sat down. I spent some time by myself. I read my journal. I read my devotional. I read a little bit of a professional development book. And then I got up and I tackled my to-do list, right? So
After she put her cap on her head. I love that.
Yeah, I did not wash my hair today. So I had to put a hat on because you guys,
that works.
it's a little scary under here today.
That's part of taking control. It's like, okay, what can I do and still get the stuff done? You know?
Yeah. I mean, the other cool thing is when I wear a cap, you guys, the light is kind of blocked from my eyes. I don't really need to wear eye makeup, right? It's not necessary. You're not going to really see it anyway. So I saved myself a solid 3 minutes by not having to put on eye makeup today. So, sometimes you got to be proactive. You got to do what you got to do. And so it starts with structuring your time, structuring your days. We all have the same amount of time. And I know maybe you're watching this and you're saying, yeah, okay, but I've got this full-time job and I've got 3 kids and my husband needs me to help this. Like, we've all been there, right? We've all had, I remember when I started my business, I was a full-time student. I had a job. I worked for mom and dad a little bit on the side. Like, I had stuff going on. I was so busy, right? When mom got started, she had 3 kids all living at home. She had a lot going on. She was helping my dad in the office with his business. Like, there's a lot going on. And everybody has a lot going on, okay? And so what it comes down to is, how are you going to use your time? And I love, there's a lady by the name of Leslie Zan, who we've had the privilege of training with a little bit several years ago. And she says, it's not about how much time you have, it's about what you do with the time you have, right? So we actually put together a really cool episode several weeks ago. This is episode 58 of Coffee with K&J. Can you believe it? We're on 58. But back on episode 31, which was like almost pre-COVID times, you guys. This is like a different life. But we had how to design your ideal week as a network marketer. Okay. And if you head over to the link that's at the bottom of this video, /58, we linked to it in the recap for you over there, to that perfect week episode. And we talk about time blocking and how to design your perfect week so that you take control of your day and your day stops controlling you. So if you haven't checked out that episode, or you haven't done the worksheet that goes with it, we highly recommend you do that.
Yeah, and this is something that I know we need to get on to the next point, but I think this is really important. I remember back when I was in college, in the first semester, my mom told me, she was like, I just want you to focus on school. We're going to give you, and I lived in the dorm, so didn't need a lot of money. She said, we'll give you $300 a month if you will just come home and pay your dad's bills once a month. That was her way to get me home for the weekend. So come home once a month and pay your dad's bills, which was, I don't know, he had his own business, and it was probably, I had to write like 15 checks and put them in envelopes and mail them. Okay. So not a big deal, but it was her way.
You weren't like paying his bills. You were like doing his bookkeeping, right? Like,
yeah. But that basically the only bookkeeping I had to do was write the checks. I mean, it was like, take the invoices that have come in, pay these, make the payments, stick them in the envelope, put a stamp on them, and take them to the post office. Mm-hmm. Probably took me an hour. But their deal was that would get me home from college for the weekend. And that was what I had to do in order for them to put $300 a month into my checking account, which was my money to do whatever I wanted to do with that month, because, my meals and everything else was taken care of in the dorm. So if I wanted to eat out, that's what that was for. Well, she said, I don't want you to work. That's all you've got to do. You focus on your classes. That's your job. And then you've got this little thing that you can do, 1 week in a month. You can come visit us. Well, guess what? Mid-semester came around, or not mid-semester, the middle of that semester. Okay. So it was the mid-semester, I guess, about halfway through. And my mom, this was back when college would let parents know what their kids were doing. So they send my mom this progress report. And guys, I had all D's and F's. And my mom was like, you're an AB student. What the heck? What's going on? Well, because I had so much free time, I didn't use it wisely, and I was wasting it. And I told her that. I was like, Mom, I think here's my problem. I told her, she goes, then go get a job. So I went and got a job, And guess what? My grades went up. I worked from then on, and I kept my A's and B's, okay? And I didn't work a lot, but I worked some, and I had a really good, like I had a routine, I had a schedule. I didn't like I had to study when I was off, because if I didn't, I was either in class, I was working, or I was sleeping. And so it made me get back into a routine. And I thought, you know what? And I've always heard this, if you want someone to do something, find someone who's busy. Busy people get things done.
Mhm.
And so many
More time
times,
is not the answer. So
no, it's not more time. It's about looking at the time you have and scheduling it. And when you've only got an hour to get something done, if it's important to you, you'll get it done, right? You'll get
well,
it
it's
done.
like there's a girl at my horse barn who she's a freshman in college this year, and she works at the barn, 5 mornings a week before class. And every time I see her, so one of her jobs is to bring horses in for some of their physical therapy stuff, and then she has about a 10-minute break while that horse gets worked on, and then she takes it back and brings back the next horse. And during her little 10-minute breaks, she is sitting in a chair with her laptop, doing homework or studying. That's what she does during her little 10-minute breaks. And I always think, like, what a great use of your time, right? Like, what a cool way. She could be on her phone, she could be on social media, she could be, taking a 10-minute nap, like whatever. She could be, goofing off, but she uses that 10-minute pocket of time to answer 2 questions on her homework assignment or whatever it is. And it's the same thing in your business.
Mhm.
Use your 10 minutes to meet one new person, to invite somebody to look at your business. Like, you can find 10 minutes of time if you know what your schedule is. And then this leads us on to the next one, which is knowing what steps you should be taking during your time, right? It's like, when you're going to work your business. So what are you going to be working on while you're doing that? So I'll let Mom kind of go there and explain this tip.
Yeah. So like Jordan said, now that you have a clear plan for when to work your business, it's time to define what you'll be working on. And I know when we first start our business, we have a tendency to get so fired up about the end result, right? The goal, that sometimes we overlook the steps, the work part, right? And that's really what's required. Okay. You've got to actually, you got to focus on the actions, the activities. So, and when you don't, that's when you get frustrated, because you're going to miss the goals because you're not really doing the activities. Okay. So you've got to know, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? And the best way to do this is to work it backwards. Okay. So you're going to start with like I talked about earlier, our mentor taught us, start with your title and income goal. Okay. And that's what he told me. You've got to know, what's that title goal? What's that income goal? And determine how many team members and customers, or either or. Okay. It may not be a combination of, maybe you're focused on one side or the other, or maybe it's a combination of, but kind of like, okay, what is it going to take? Like, figure it out. Look at your comp plan, figure it out. Okay. And if you don't know, go upline and ask them, and let's, figure it out. This is something you need to figure out. And so you've got to know what the numbers are, and you've got to determine, like, how many people will I need to talk to in order to enroll this many customers or this many team members. You cannot control who says yes, but I'll promise you, if you'll track for a while, okay, if you'll track from now for, let's just say, the next 30, 60, 90 days, you're going to start seeing a trend, and you're going to say, oh, okay, I can usually get, if I invite 14 people to take a look, I can usually get 3 to agree to look at it, whether that be look at my products, look at my opportunity. And you know what? Out of every 3 that looks, I end up with a new customer, or I end up with a new team member. Okay.
Yep.
And that's just an example, but you're going to start seeing this trend. Okay. You're going to start, and then the longer you do it, you get better at the invitation. You get better at the smooth transition from invitation to presentation, because you're going to use a tool to present. So you don't have to get good at presenting. You're just getting good at making that transition from invitation to presentation. Okay. And then I want you to make a commitment to, I'm going to ask this many people based on those numbers. But then as you get better, you'll start seeing your results improving. And then you're going to get to a point, it's going to be a little bit better. So you might even be able to either grow a little faster, or you'll be able to cut your numbers back a little bit. Okay. And usually what happens is you start cutting those numbers back a little bit because you got team members you're working with. And maybe you still only have an hour a day, but you've got to split that between your own activity and helping your team. But that's okay because you've gotten better. And so you can talk to less people. Okay.
Yep.
And we do have a simple daily action step routine, and we link to that over on this blog post. So globalfreedomcommunity.com/58. If you go there and you go down to the section where we're talking about identifying your action steps, there's going to be a little link that says to get our simple daily action step routine, click here, and you can click there and go pick that up and grab it, because that's not, we're not going to go into all of that right here because we've got another blog
hour-long training. So that would like a whole
go
separate
grab
thing
that.
that you can go there and check it out for sure. So that was our 3 tips, but we did have one bonus one we wanted to give you guys, and that's very quickly, you got to give yourself a reward, right? We talked about your why and it being big enough and strong enough that it pulls you despite your obstacles, your roadblocks, your fears, those kinds of things. Well, that's all well and good, but sometimes we need to remember to celebrate the journey and reward ourselves along the way. Okay.
And I think this is something that people tend to not do. They're like, oh, my reward's just, getting the customer, building the team, doing. No, I want you to really think of a reward, and like, don't blow this off as not, it could be something small. Maybe you're gonna, buy a new pair of earrings, a new lip color. Maybe
you're gonna take a warm bubble bath at the end of the day and have 30 minutes to yourself.
Doesn't even have to be a purpose. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be something that costs money. It can just be, but your reward can get bigger as your paycheck gets bigger, as your team grows, as your business grows, which is really, really cool. But yeah, you do not, like Mom said, you don't want to blow this off, because these are the things that it's, if you're waiting to arrive to get there before you celebrate, you're going to be waiting forever, because your goal is always going to keep growing in your business. Like, my business now is bigger than I ever thought it would be when I first got started, but it's nowhere near where I want to be now, because as I grow and the business grows, my goals grow. So you've got to celebrate the action.
As you see what's possible, your goals grow. And guess what? The farther along you go in the journey, you start seeing the possibilities of being so much more. Absolutely. I mean, it's just human nature. You can't help it. It's like people that work out or exercise or do anything, they're like, oh, well, I just wanted to lose 10 pounds. But man, you know what? I think maybe now I kind of want to get a 6-pack, or man, now I kind of want to tone up my arms. Like, gosh, this is coming, maybe not easier than I thought, but I'm like, okay, I lost the 10 pounds.
I can do it now. Your belief grows, right?
Exactly.
All right, you guys. So if you want even more value out of what we shared today, then do us a favor, hit the share button, share this with your team, share this with your friends. You can share it in Messenger, on your profile, wherever. We appreciate the shares. But be sure to head over to globalfreedomcommunity.com/58 and download our simple goal setting worksheet. Okay. It's going to help you revisit your why. It's going to help you revisit your goals, create your goals, and define the action steps that are required to get where you want to go. So, question of the week. Mom.
Why are you here in the world, of network marketing? And I mean, that could be like, you don't have to go into your deep
Type it in comments.
But you're going to drop this in the comments. But I want you to just drop in the comments, why are you here in the world of network marketing? Maybe it's because it could be something like, I saw the unlimited income potential. I saw that this is going to give me the time that I've been looking for, so that I don't have to work 40 hours a week for 40 years. Maybe it's because I realized I was going to be able to work online and not have to go to a job. I mean, this hasn't be your deep why of like what it is why you're doing what you're doing, but why did you choose network marketing is kind of what I want to know. Yeah. Why did you choose network marketing? So drop it in the comments. We want to know. There's so many wonderful things about network marketing. So many. So drop in the comments why you chose network marketing. And we appreciate you. We're glad you're here. We thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back next week with episode number 59. And anyway, we'll see you guys.
All right. Bye, y'all. Have a great day.
Bye.